Yo, what's going on, guys? Snoozman back here with another YouTube video, and today we're actually going to talk about what is the best way to set your depth charts here in Madden 21 franchise mode. Now, this is sort of my opinion, my method, and how I run things. Now, I am in the lineup right here. And I'm going to kind of break down every position and the best possible way to set these players per position here. Obviously, some of these are going to be quite simple. Obviously, for quarterbacks, you start your best quarterback. Obviously, there's no question about it. For running backs, sometimes they start guys that have obviously a higher overall, but pay attention to their age. So, someone like Cordero Patterson, really, obviously, this is not an updated roster as you guys can see, but we're going based off example here. And Cordero Patterson is nearing 30, and he's 79 overall, so he's only going to go down from here. But the game is really relying on his superstar dev, and he's getting that because he's from receiver to running back, so he's kind of getting that boosted dev, just switching positions there. Um, and we can look at it. He's a scheme fit. We get all that. But David Montgomery is someone that can easily work into a scheme fit by just upgrading him by year one or into year two. And David Montgomery already is a high 78 here, and he has star dev. So he's someone that we can progress. And for sure, we have to put him in the number one role to get the most out of him if we want to make him an insane stud. We can't have him a number two, or he's never ever going to develop. Someone like Allen Robinson here, obviously, he's your number one go-to wide receiver, probably top 10 receiver in the game. Obviously, a beast of a receiver there. Number two receiver, it's got to be, again, the closest to that. Somebody that should definitely fill in the shoes behind an Allen Robinson and be the second most targeted weapon on the field. Obviously, Anthony Miller is not that. Darnell Mooney is, for a lot of guys that know Darnell Mooney and follow Darnell Mooney. So he's going to be my number two here. And your slot is going to be your fastest. I'm not a big fan of Anthony Miller as a Bears fan. I don't like him, and he's not a slot receiver, and he drops everything. I'm just not a fan of him. Ted Ginn's not even on the team. Um, Anthony Miller, trying to get someone fast up in there, so we don't really have too many guys. So we're going to have to leave it as it is. But Ted Ginn shows extreme speed as of right now. It's a good example. I'll just show you guys real quick. He has only 91 speed, but he has 91 acceleration. But that's still extremely quick. We could throw Mooney in the slot, but again, he's our best, or he's our second best receiver. And then we have our fastest guy in the slot. Another big thing, guys, I'm going to jump up to tight end here. For tight ends, you guys, and really all positions, make sure that this is not sneaking past you. Always start your, now I'm going to take this out and move this dude up and then put in commit. Never sit your hidden dev, guys. They always have to start at whatever positions they are, because once they are hidden dev, that means they are a very valuable asset, at least star dev, and you can get solid play out of them. So Cole Kmet 100% needs to start. From there, he's going to grow and exceed expectations and grow, and he's got a lot of potential. Offensive line, you can kind of rotate these guys around, but keep in mind, now this is my strategy with these guys, you kind of have to know some of these offensive linemen in terms of can some of these guys rotate, can some of these guys play other positions on the offensive line, and if they can't, or if you don't know that they can, then it's best to just leave them and play them where they're at, because if you rotate them around, that can hurt you because they can play bad, they can give up sacks, and all that other stuff. So for the best, it's leaving these guys where they are. That's for the best. And if you guys see someone that's better underneath and they're not, now sometimes they can trick you in some of these rosters where there's someone really good as a backup. Make sure you guys are seeing that and checking through. I don't have anybody. It's a lot of lower than 60 overalls for the most part, so they're really, really bad. So we got a decent starting lineup. We made a few adjustments here. Now we're going to move along to the defense, guys. And again, you guys can already see Jalen Johnson is not some sort of slot corner. In real life, he's actually #1 corner in the updated roster because Kyle Fuller is not a Chicago Bear. So Jalen Johnson is somebody that I at least want to move into the #2 spot, even though this is not a updated roster. So we're going to move Jalen Johnson, and Buster Screen was a slot corner. Slot corners are typically a little smaller. Buster Screen's only 5'9", and he has 89 speed. They're typically a little faster, but he's not because he's 31 years old. But guys that are pretty small and has decent speed usually are your slot nickel corners. And then again, always play your hidden dev guys. They have to play, always have to play. And then we have Kyle Fuller, our #1 corner. Defensive line, you can kind of fluctuate this up to your standards. It depends on scheming and stuff like that. So we are running a 3-4 defense right now, so we could really make Khalil Mack a left end. That's typically really what he is when it comes down to a 3-4. So we could really put Khalil Mack at a left end, but again, where would that put Hicks? So we have to leave Hicks here at left end. So again, we have to, process of elimination. What would happen to this player? Where would this player go? So we just broke that down, and that wouldn't be for the best there. Bilal Nichols is best for right end, but we could move him over to DT because we don't have a lot of DTs, and we could have Roy Robertson Harris play. It's completely up to you guys based on development and where these guys should be. But Bilal Nichols is a right end, so I don't think we should move him around because that could hurt his development. Especially on the D-line, they don't really progress extremely well if you move these guys around. Secondary to linebacker, these guys, if you move them around, it really doesn't matter. It sometimes helps them. And I'm going to move into that right now because strong safety, you can make a strong safety linebacker hybrid. So I can take, now Tayshaun Gibson's not a great example, but if I had a Jamal Adams, I could take a Jamal Adams and put him at middle linebacker, and he'd be an absolute stud because really he's more of a middle linebacker type anyways. He's never even gotten a pick. You take somebody like that, we can move him, edit his position, and put him as a linebacker. Bam! We can put him that, but Tayshaun Gibson's not a great example. He wouldn't be a great guy to take out of his strong safety role and put as a linebacker. He's just not better than, not even near better than the guys I have. And again, it's Tayshaun Gibson. Eddie Jackson, that's free safety. You got to have your starting free safeties there. Those are guys that you really can't move around. They usually stay there. They're really good roaming and making plays out there pick-wise. So you have to leave those guys there. And then again, I showed you, especially in a 3-4, if they're more of a rushing type, like a Quinn and Mack is, you can make these guys right end, left outside linebacker. But again, the question is, where would these guys go? It's completely up to you guys. But again, I would keep these guys up here. And then we have Trevathan and Smith up here as our starting middle 2 linebackers. But again, guys, what you could do, though, is we can edit Robert Quinn, make him a right end, and then try to put Nichols maybe as a defensive tackle. And then we can try to try out a Barkevius Mingo there. And then we could try out Roy Robertson Harris, or we can try to move Hicks over on the other side and then slide Mack down. It's really all up to you guys when it comes down to outside linebackers and defensive ends, how you want to do that, especially in a 3-4 scheme. And you have to look at the outside linebackers. Are they rushing types, or are they guys that can get picks? It's completely up to you guys. Again, like I've said numerous of times, but this is how I'm going to keep it. But again, guys, check your schemes, check your players and player archetypes, and see what you guys are working with. And again, always start your hidden dev rookies. It'll always count, or they'll fall back on stats. You're not going to achieve the goals that you want to out of those guys. But that's my method and how to really break down, essentially, and form the best depth chart possible before your games in Madden 21 franchise mode. So hopefully this video did reach out and help a lot of you guys out. Now we are trying to hit 350 subs, I believe. We are really close to 330, so hopefully we can get to 350, obviously in the nearby future. But again, guys, that will be it for today's video, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next one.